Hey everybody, welcome back. HSC Podcast 98. We are in Super Bowl edition. Got Big Box Steve on the mic, Big Smooth, Fresh Wes. Dude, Wes, I love that monitor, dude. That's money.
It's not the screen I want. It's almost there.
It's curved though. Dude, that's pretty cool. It's like gotta be like a 30 inch or
I've
something. 30.
I've been working on the command center.
Yeah.
Everything's going as planned.
He could be playing video games while he's, on these podcasts.
Right.
Everybody knows that I'm serious, man. I'm looking at a screen, man.
Yeah, he's got real statistics happening live.
And
needs to have-
this is my analytics page.
Well, the best would be is if you had a dog, you could just sit the dog in the chair and it could be like Belichick. Draft room.
I do.
Yeah.
My neighbor's dog across the street is my dog.
We gotta talk about that today. So if you guys are listening on YouTube, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Appreciate the watches and Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor. Appreciate the listens. I haven't checked the statistics for last podcast, but being that this is Super Bowl edition,
No idea.
we should get a record amount of listens.
We're gonna bump or a boost.
Well, our number one podcast is still final. It's March Madness. March Madness is still our number one podcast. So Super Bowl's got to match that.
Just to
right?
let everybody know, I will be broadcasting live from the Pac-12 tournament this year in Las Vegas.
Yeah, maybe we'll podcast live while Fresh West is at the Pac-12 tournament. So this is a good one. So we took a week off. If you guys sorry if we missed you last week. So we're gonna recap conference championships, get into Super Bowl stuff. Before we jump into that, I mean, I like to talk about this every week as we come up. A little bit about NCAA draft stuff, what's happening. I just want to know, like, if you're at the University of Washington right now, you just went to the national championship game, and pretty much your whole team of starters has now transferred out, besides the ones that left for the NFL.
And you lost your coach, and you
lost your coach, right?
And you're going into the Big Ten.
This is killing college football teams. Did you guys see they're returning only two starters?
Oh, it's funny that you start out like this because I just so I talked to a guy, a booster last night about their situation, and they have to fill a lot of I mean, they lost so many people that, and the transfer portal doesn't open up again until April. And so they're not going to have enough guys for spring football. And so, I mean, they need like 20, 30 players.
Right.
It's that bad.
Well, they lost more players to Power 5 schools than any other school did.
They did.
And, not just, I mean, they lost some to Alabama, schools like that. Obviously, their coach going to Alabama, they lost two starters. I think they're a receiver.
Yeah.
And that quarterback. But they lost like what's his name? That good corner they have to Oregon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But because they didn't have that many guys go to the NFL.
Well, they did. It's just people, when DeBoer left, everyone's like, screw it, we're going to leave too. And did Polk go to Alabama? This dude told me Polk went to Alabama. He didn't go to the NFL.
Polk is in the draft.
Yeah, Polk went to the draft.
He was wasted. I was talking, he got shit.
Yeah,
I was like, Polk went to the
Polk's
NFL.
in the draft. Polk went to the draft.
He's like, oh, he went to Alabama.
No, three guys went to Alabama. It was the quarterback, a receiver, and I think like a defensive end or a linebacker.
No.
But then they lost to Oregon. They lost to Miami. I mean, their list was crazy of how many guys they lost to Power Five schools, more than any other school.
Yeah, it sucks.
And they're only returning 2 starters.
And they do have a lot of their players are graduating or going pro, though.
Yeah, they have a lot of
Because we
schools.
talked about that before the championship game. Is like this was their one chance.
Right.
That was like DeBoer left too because he's like, oh man, now I have to restock the whole thing anyway.
Yeah,
Because
so he's like, I'm out of here.
You lost McMillan, Odunze, and Polk.
Right.
You lost your running back Dylan Johnson. You lost your quarterback.
Quarterback.
You lost a lot of your linemen.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
They also had a few linemen transfer out.
yeah.
But I get it too. Is like if like you have Muhammad going to Oregon. Well, you know why? Because Dan Lannon says he's not going anywhere.
Right.
I want to go someplace where I know my coach is going to be.
Well, and I guess once that people start transferring out like that, it's like a fire sale.
Yeah.
And like you just know, like you want to go to a team that's not on the block, right? There's not
Right.
everybody leaving. It's a little more stable.
Well, yeah. Nowadays they just want to go where it's easy.
Yeah.
Nah.
So I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, think about
They
it.
don't want to have to compete for a job. That's what I hear.
Yeah, there's
they're
that
going,
too.
They're going to the Big Ten now. Ohio State's restocking.
No,
USC is restocking. Oregon is restocking. And then Washington's like, oh man.
What do we do?
Yeah, because even if all those people wouldn't have left, they were still at tons of holes.
Well, I think what Wes just said. It's super legitimate because how many times have you seen this when I don't want to have to compete for my job, so I'm just going to transfer schools.
Isn't that funny?
It's super funny to me, right? Because that's not how sports and like that's not how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Best player plays, like you go out and you win your job.
Well, that's the thing. They're not going to learn perseverance. But you also got players like Kyle McCord in the center from Alabama. They're like, we're out because we're getting death threats. I mean, and so it's like
did Kyle McCord get death threats?
Oh yeah, these fans take it stuff way too seriously.
Like Buffalo's kicker,
right? Norwood,
like
remember?
Buffalo's kicker gets just completely crucified by his own fans because he misses a kick.
Yeah, but go back in time, dude. Remember Norwood missed the field goal, and they burnt down his house.
And
remember that?
Finkel.
Could you imagine you miss a field goal in the Super Bowl and your house gets burnt down?
I don't remember that.
That was Scott Norwood.
No.
Yeah.
He burned down his house?
He burnt down his house, dude.
And then they make a movie about him? This is horrific, dude. Finkel Einhorn.
What's really interesting about Buffalo,
guys. And that's the thing. Like, I was very mad about the Buffalo game. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was like, "This is so stupid. You guys are idiots." But what I want to kill the dude's family. No,
let's talk a little draft because I want to get in the NFL. That's what I want most podcasts to be. But I do want to talk a little bit about draft because you guys were talking about this earlier. So Derek, you had brought up Rattler, which I hadn't really considered too much. And then, I kind of went back and I just investigated a little bit. That's not a terrible pick.
It's not.
Especially value pick.
Late in the draft. Right?
Because the thing
what are you going to get him? Third, maybe fourth round?
Well, he's moving up in that board. People are they're going to get him earlier.
Well, because people are going to reach. And I mean, because now they're talking, and I'm like, oh, dude. Like the second round, I can get behind it, but that the Raiders will take McCarthy at 13
No,
What?
no.
because Knicks will be gone, and the other top three will be gone.
You can't take McCarthy in the first round. I don't care.
Can't do it.
Can't do it.
Can't do it.
You
Now,
can't.
now
He's
that's
not a
what I'm
first
worried-
round quarterback.
I'm worried about Knicks because I think someone's going to jump ahead of the Raiders for Knicks.
Well, I guess
Someone's
let's
gonna
be
move up
honest.
to like 11.
Knicks is not a first round quarterback either.
Let's be honest.
Right.
Pittsburgh took Wes's favorite player, Cody Pickett, in the first round.
Well, remember the Minnesota Vikings taking Christian Ponder.
Right.
Everyone, that was a huge. Everyone was like, "What?" And he was like 9th overall.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so let's talk about McCarthy for a second. Do either of you believe that McCarthy can go in the first round?
Late first round, I would say, unless something significantly happens. It's kind of like Derek was saying about Rattler. Now, I watched a little bit of Senior Bowl. I don't know why, and he impressed people at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah,
and,
he did.
Because he's got. I mean, of course, he's not the biggest guy in the world, but he can throw the football. He's no scrub throwing the football. I mean, I thought maybe he would move up in the boards to being like a late second. But why can't JJ McCarthy? I mean, look at that situation. I mean, he could be a late first rounder. But Raiders getting him that high, like, come on, that's just.
Well, to be fair, what I would like to see is them trade down a few times and get him in the late first.
That's what they should do.
But
so you'd be okay with the Raiders taking McCarthy late in the first?
Yeah. Well, the thing is the problem with McCarthy is there's not that much tape because they didn't let him.
Right. He's running the ball. They're running the ball 100 times a game. Just
remember, we all thought Herbert was gonna be kind of a bust, right? Because in Oregon, they didn't really use him the way they should have.
Right.
He goes to NFL and then he starts. I mean,
but he's throwing for 4,000 yards. Like, it doesn't matter how the team does. He's still throwing for 4,000 yards.
But when we watched him, and we're here in Oregon,
right.
I was like, he's just a system guy.
Yeah.
And then with McCarthy, well, he's bigger than Nix, and he's bigger than Penix, bigger than Rattler. He has a strong arm.
Yeah,
he has mobility.
He can run, which I don't care. In this day and age in the NFL, you need to be able to run.
But I'm not against all that, but he also is very questionable with his decisions. He got very lucky a couple times in the college football playoff. Guys that the ball hit him in the chest on the defense.
Yeah. No, you need an offensive coordinator that's going to protect a player like that. You need to know what he can do and what he can't do.
That's your guy.
Oh,
he does. He'll throw 20 screens a game, so he'll protect the quarterback.
Screen. Fire a pass. Christ, dude.
I mean, think about the Raiders, though. Like, you need someone who's going to stretch the field because you got, Devontae, right?
Right.
So you got to have somebody who can stretch the field for sure.
So you need someone with a strong arm. O'Connell, I like him, but he's kind of a statue.
He's not going to take. He's not your future.
No.
And then, I mean, remember they beat the Chiefs, right? And he didn't have a single passing yard in like 3 quarters.
Right. No, well, because here's the thing: they're going to win. Let's say they don't draft a quarterback. The Raiders still going to finish 7 and 10, 8 and 9, maybe 9 and 8, right? Even with O'Connell.
Well, here's the problem.
So what happens? You don't get another quarterback draft next year.
Yeah, you gotta it's and I was thinking about this last night and I was watching some of the things on Drake May and like what people are evaluating him and how they're evaluating him. And right now, Drake May seems like he's the odd man out in this whole thing. And if the Raiders were going to move up, you might want to think about him
Right.
I
because it
won't
seems
touch
like
Drake May with a 10-foot pole.
well,
I'm kind of with
here's
Wes
the
on this. I think Drake May he hasn't had enough exposure in the
yeah
right system.
you have to see him. What I hate to say this because I'm not a big combine person,
Yeah,
but
no, it's dude, 100% Drake May is combine.
yeah,
100%. I was gonna say the exact same thing.
but if they had to move up, because honestly, I would rather have Daniels than anybody, but I think a lot of teams want Daniels, and you're going to give up a lot for those positions. Drake May might fall, and he
They're gonna see
fall.
Daniels as like a CJ Stroud
Yeah,
or
Well,
Anthony Richardson. They're gonna see him similar to those guys.
so if we got, okay, let's say we're the Bears. Are you taking Caleb Williams or are you trading down?
I mean, here I hate to say it, but they're probably gonna take Caleb Williams.
Okay.
they have more power.
Then
So
that's going to
let's
be,
assume the Bears are taking Caleb.
so then Washington is probably taking either Drake May or Jaden Daniels, right?
You would think.
And then that means the Patriots is taking whoever's left over.
Yeah.
Maybe not, though, right? Maybe the Patriots aren't happy
They
with.
might not. The Patriots might be the one team that's like, you know what, we're going to build for the future. The
Yeah,
future's
well,
not now.
let's
Their
roll
whole
with
thing is
Wes's
they
favorite
realize
player.
they're not very good. And why don't we just build the team and then get a quarterback later?
Well, let's take Marvin Harrison Jr. and just let
Even
Mac
better.
Jones, the incredible Mac, throw to Marvin
Look at
Harrison
him, Mac.
Jr.
Poor buddy.
You know, I would not put that past the Patriots.
You never know.
Well, and then that would be like I was looking, so the Raiders would have to get above 8.
Right. So they got to get above 8. Right. Or go to
If
8.
well, 8 is the Falcons, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. So then, well, yeah, because Falcons got to go quarterback too, right?
Yeah, exactly. So they have to go with either the Giants or the Titans. And we don't even know if the Titans would go quarterback.
Or you can go with the Falcons if the Falcons are like, we're just going to stay with what we got.
Right.
Or maybe the Falcons will say, hey, move back a few spaces and get Bo Nix or Michael Penix.
Right. But that's the thing is the problem with the Raiders was they won too many games late in the season. So
Yeah.
now they're behind. Was it the Vikings and the
They're going to be in the same problem next year, though, is the problem.
I
That's what I'm
know.
saying. If you don't, even if you don't get a quarterback, the way they have their defense playing right now, if it continues the next year, which I don't see any reason why it wouldn't,
Yeah.
and you play Aiden O'Connell, they're gonna win a minimum of 7 games.
Right. See, that's where you're the damned if you do, damned if you don't. I liked Antonio Pierce. I wanted him as coach, but I also wanted a good draft pick. You
Right.
can't have both
You're
because
like,
if
dude, could you lose a few games, buddy?
then they won't pick him up.
Right.
You know what I mean? So then it's like you're stuck, and now you're stuck in the middle.
Right.
And now you're stuck behind like 6, 7 teams that want a quarterback.
That want quarterbacks. Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
And the X factor is the Bears going to go if they're Bears going to get Caleb, then the Raiders should try to get Fields.
So
they won't go. They're not going to get Fields now because they got Getsy.
So here's the thing about the Falcons, though, is they have expressed a lot of interest in Fields.
Oh yeah, they have.
So let's say the Bears do go Caleb, and the Falcons are like, hey, let's get Fields and trade back.
Right.
So that might leave some room for the Raiders to say, let's get up to 8 and maybe sneak in a Drake May at 8. I could see people dropping on Drake May. I could see him falling to 8.
A little bit.
We'll see.
Washington.
Remember the
I will
last
guarantee
North
you.
Carolina quarterback that came out, dude.
Right.
Remember that guy?
There's not a lot of good. There's not a lot of good history around
No, there's not.
taking a Carolina quarterback at 2, right? So, but look, Washington just signed Kingsbury, right? You know he likes to stretch the field. You know he likes a mobile quarterback.
I don't even think Kingsbury knows what he wants to do. He just wants to look good on camera, dude.
He will take. I would bet money Kingsbury would take Jaden Daniels at 2. I'd bet money.
Well, I got it. That's why I'm wondering if Kingsbury went to the Commanders because they were like, "Hey,
yeah, they want Campbell.
we're going to trade with Chicago so we can get Caleb Williams."
I mean, I think that's ideal for them. Unfortunately, I just don't think Chicago is going to do it. I don't agree with it. Don't get me wrong.
What if Chicago likes Drake and May better though?
No.
Oh God.
Chicago
Or Jaden Daniels
100% takes Caleb Williams and I don't like it. I want to keep Fields. I want to trade back. I want to earn draft capital. That's what I want. But that's not going to happen. 100% they take Caleb Williams.
Yeah. It seems like, and honestly,
and they trade Fields to Atlanta.
Yeah, well, that it seems like Atlanta really wants him.
That's my prediction for the draft. They take Caleb Williams, they trade maybe for a second round to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is I was wanting the Raiders to do it, but now with Getsy there's no way I want that because that was a horrible combination.
The combination of the two, not good.
Now, what I've been reading, because they have to make it sound okay that Getsy's okay, right?
Dude, Getsy's trash, dude. I'll be right back.
Well, he was the passing game coordinator for the Packers when Devonta Adams was there.
He's got his offensive coordinator of night school degree. He's good.
Well, and then also the thing is they were saying this Eberflus was kind of holding it down, like telling him not to do stuff.
Eberflus is not going to be around much longer either.
And that's why I wanted to tell Steve, because think about it. The Patrick Graham, McDaniels kept Patrick Graham from doing things.
Well, Steve, and I have this sixth sense too. They're going to eat Caleb too, and they almost have to. You're in that position.
You have to.
You're number one, and let's say they didn't do it. Everything Justin Fields does in the rest of his career as a Bear, everyone's going to say, "Look, you should have gotten Caleb." And it's not fair. It's not fair to Justin Fields.
Well, think about it this way: the Texans last year, when the Texans got Will Anderson and C.J. Stroud, did anyone say, "Oh, they're going to win that division and they're going to, win a game"?
No, absolutely not.
The Bears were on the cusp of making the playoffs,
right?
And then you put in Caleb Williams. If you're like someone like, if C.J. Stroud could take the Texans to that, I wonder what Caleb Williams could do.
Yeah, why couldn't Caleb Williams do the same thing, right?
Yeah.
For already a better team than what the Texans were when they added Stroud.
And then if you pick up like one of the tackles or one of the receivers,
right?
Your other pick, that's perfect.
They're talking about Adunze. They getting him at the next pick, which that gives you another, gives him another weapon, at 9.
Here's the thing, dude. And this is the hard part for me is monetarily, it makes too much sense.
It does.
That's the problem. The problem is I would keep Justin Fields in a heartbeat if he wasn't going to cost me, $200 million over the next 5 years, minus 1 year.
Right. $6 million next year. And then it's
then another re-sign of a contract for probably $20 million a year.
Or if you do the tag, it's like $40 million.
Yeah, exactly. Or for 1 year. Right. So either way, like you're so invested into that you have the chance. And I'm not a Caleb Williams fan as far as he could be hit or miss. He could be.
He's Willie Seaman Beeman, dude. He's that dude. He's like, I want demands. He's gonna be all that. It's gonna happen though.
Oh, dude.
Willie
So look,
Beeman.
the Bears, they have to take Caleb. You like, I mean,
Yeah,
I hate it. I hate it, but they have to. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But you got to do it.
Yep.
But just to go back for a second because I missed this part, 'cause I had to go to the bathroom. But the Getsy signing for you guys,
Oh,
dude, I don't get it.
Well, it's they waited till all the other coordinators were gone.
go in a call. Go
I mean, the enemy just got fired.
Yeah,
That's what,
but
dude. I'm like yelling at my TV this morning. We could have had at least be enemy.
well, Bieniemy though. Okay, well, Pierce wants to ground and pound.
Right. The enemy's a stretch field.
Yeah, and he doesn't like the Commanders had like the 28th worst rush offense.
Yeah. But Sam Howell at one point was leading the league in passing yards.
Right. And then people started then you realize Bieniemy couldn't adjust and then it sucked. That's the problem with Bieniemy. They gave him the reins and he didn't do that well.
Yeah, he also was coaching the Commanders though, dude. Come on.
Plus, well, dude, you have McLaurin, you have really good skill players.
Yeah, but nobody to throw the ball to him.
Sam Howell from North Carolina.
Yeah, we've already talked about North Carolina quarterbacks tonight.
Well, we're talking Drake May is going to be the best of the bunch.
Quarterback, you.
We just talked about Drake May slipping. What are you talking about?
Yeah, we're also saying that you guys are saying he's the he's the best of the bunch too.
No. I think Drake May.
What I'm saying is, if the Raiders, because I don't really want the Raiders to move up and get any of these guys, but the one that has a chance to slip is Drake
May. It is. But I'll tell you what.
I want Jaden Daniels, but he ain't gonna slip.
I agree 100% with Wes, and I was before Wes even said this. Drake May will make his draft pick in the combine. Yeah, he'll make it or break it.
And that's the worst thing possible,
right?
When you pick someone because of the combine.
But that's where it's going to happen for him.
Well, he's not even going to do much in the combine. You know, they don't throw.
Well,
he's
or his pro day. His pro day. So either way, same thing. That's where he's going to make or break himself.
Right.
Yeah. So either he's going to go 2 or 3, or he's going to go 12 or 13.
Yeah.
Based on his pro day and his combine. Where Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams, I think, will go top 3 regardless.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
And when Jaden Daniels runs a sub 4.40.
Oh, dude, he's gonna run like a 4.41.
It's just fast. Just dumb fast.
And so Jaden Daniels goes to Washington 100%. So I've been thinking about this a lot. Chicago has to take Caleb. You have to do it, right? Sucks for I don't like it. I'd love to get the draft capital out of him, but you got to take him. Washington, adding Kingsbury as the OC, they're taking Jaden Daniels 100%. 100%.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Kingsbury's more, it's air raid. It's drop back passing most of the time.
Well, you want a guy, because Jaden Daniels can throw the ball, dude.
Well, what they're doing, here's another thing, is there's a lot of, this is like a lot of chess. This is a chess game here. Washington's saying, hey, look, and in the media, it's out there that Kingsbury really is good with Caleb Williams. So what they're doing to Chicago is saying, hey, all you have to do is drop down a spot, and you can get your receiver, right? They're playing this game, which Chicago's not going to fall for. There's no fucking way. Absolutely not.
The
It
only
walked
thing
off.
is if those rumors become true where Caleb says, I'm not playing for Chicago.
No, you got to.
Yeah.
Chicago, there is one way you'll get Caleb Williams out of Chicago is that somebody's going to come in with enough draft capital to where polls will be like, it doesn't even matter. I got to take it.
Or if he pulls an Eli and says, I won't play for him.
Yeah, his camp is so. I don't know if do you ever watch Colin Coward?
No,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's
So Colin Coward went into that. Caleb Williams doesn't want to go to Chicago. Had a whole show on it. Caleb
and then he
Williams
retracted it later.
literally calls him and says, "No, don't play us as anti-Chicago. What you said is not legitimate.
Really?
Retract this." And so he comes on in his next show and retracts it and says Caleb Williams is not anti-Chicago, doesn't want to be seen as not a team player. He will play for anybody who wants to draft him. And that's all here and good. But here's the thing. If somebody comes up and says, "Hey, Chicago, we'll give you first round here, first round next year, good player, maybe a second round next year," then you have to take it.
Well, I thought it would be 2 firsts, 2 seconds. Depending on where you're.
Yeah, how far back you are. But Washington, though, let's say Washington wants to move up.
Right.
They got to give the number 2 pick, obviously, and then next year's first and second.
Right. And then Jonathan Allen.
Right. And Jonathan Allen, by the way, who's no scrub.
Or Daron Payne, one of them.
Yeah. And if you're Chicago, do you have to take that? Of course you do.
Yeah.
You have to take that. Because you're getting 2 draft picks next year, first and second, and a potential Pro Bowl defensive lineman.
Well, plus, and that was, that's the strategy of it too. If I'm Poles, what he did last year was, well, Carolina's going to suck.
Right.
Sure, we'll trade with you. Now it's like, who's going to suck next year no matter who the quarterback is? The Commanders.
Right. They're still going to suck.
Because the Eagles are going to be good. The Cowboys are going to be good. The Giants will be better.
Right.
There's
so
nothing
why
in the
not
Commanders.
get more draft capital from them, right?
Right. Because, like I said, the Commanders do have good receivers, but that's about it. And a good running back.
Yeah, there's so many possibilities. Ultimately, if Chicago does not get the offer like that, though, they go Caleb Williams.
Yeah. Smart play.
Right. And Poles, he made a couple stupid decisions, but he's not an idiot.
Well, and he doesn't want to lose his job. If they don't take Caleb Williams, and then Caleb Williams goes on to be
the
next Mahomes.
And then everybody does talk about that, but if you make a really good trade, even if Caleb Williams goes on to be great, but your trade still works out, you're still fine.
Right. But it has to work out.
It has to work out. Yeah.
If the Commanders win a few Super Bowls and the Bears never do, then I don't think that works out.
It's a little dicey for Fields, though, because the problem is everything Fields ever does is under a microscope the rest of his career for the Bears.
I think it is. The problem with the NFL nowadays is if you don't show progression in the first few years, you're done.
Right.
Yeah.
And you get turned into Mac Jones by Wes.
And Cody Pickett.
Even though Mac Jones went to a Pro Bowl.
Dude, what's his face? Uncle Rico was at the Pro Bowl.
Right. He really was, dude. Come on.
Uncle Rico's at the Pro Bowl. I'm like, what am I watching?
Talking about Gardner Minshew at the Pro Bowl.
Well, no, the best was last year, dude. Derek Carr made the Pro Bowl.
Right.
After being benched. And Tyler Huntley made the Pro Bowl.
It did.
Yeah, so the most exciting part about the NFL right now, unfortunately, is not the Super Bowl.
It's the fucking draft.
It's the draft.
Wow.
Well, the problem too is free agencies before the draft, so we all speculated about everything. But you're
Right,
like,
right.
oh well.
Yeah, you don't even know what's going to happen in free agency, dude. What if
You're
Mike
like,
Evans? What if Mike Evans goes to the Bears?
what if Kirk Cousins goes back to the Commanders?
Can
Right?
you
Kirk Cousins
imagine
goes to the
though?
Patriots.
Like, what do you do when if the Bears bring in Mike Evans? They have DJ Moore. Now, what do you do at quarterback? Because then you can't. Why do you need to draft Marvin Harrison if you have Mike Evans and DJ Moore?
Wow.
So
Yeah.
there's a
Yep.
lot. There's a lot that happens in free agency too.
Yeah.
So I'm honestly I'm more interested in the off season than the finish of the season. So let's talk about the finish of the season.
Boo.
So there's a lot to talk about here. Uh, First, let's recap championship week. And Derek's not super happy about this. Baltimore, Kansas City.
Choke. I'm choking. Sorry. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, so let's talk about what happened this game. I mean, I'll just lay this out first. Yeah, 6 rushing attempts by their running backs, right? 82% of their plays are drop back passes. Why does a team that leads the league in rushing attempts, that's their game plan the whole year, go to the AFC Championship and hand the ball off to their running back 6 times and drop back 82% of the time? Why does that happen?
And it was a close game. It wasn't like they were, really far behind.
No, I mean, there were a fumble by Flowers away from probably winning the game.
And we forget that the Chiefs have I think it was the 28th or 22nd worst rush defense too.
Yeah, so why are you not running the ball? What's the thought process there? I mean, we're talking about John Harbaugh, right? He's one of the best coaches in the league. He's
He
not?
was. Now he's not anymore.
Who do you put above John Harbaugh?
Well, they won the Super Bowl 10 years ago. He's not the same coach. Now, schematically, defensively, I thought they had a great design on defense, but that obviously it came from McDonald's for the most part. But I mean, I have never seen a more undisciplined, stupid team in my life than what Baltimore did. It wasn't just the rushing and the game plan. It was the fact that his team imploded. It was an implosion.
What happened is the Chiefs came in with the bully attitude, or pregame, Kelsey kicks away Justin Tucker's ball, throws his helmet out of the way. And then if you watch it in the game, he's agitating tons of their players, but gets away with it. But they lose their cool.
Yeah.
How many stupid penalties did they get because of that?
It was stupid.
Well,
It was basically
the penalty. Talk about the penalties for a second. I don't know if you guys have seen this. So Baltimore fans, primarily, I suppose. I don't know. Maybe it's not just them, but so the referee that they brought in for the game, he's ref 10 playoff games, and 9 of them the away team has won, and 80% of his penalties were called on the away or the home team, which ironically fell in line with this game. He called 4 penalties on the home team and 1 on the away team. Is that a real thing?
They shouldn't be calling taunting penalties in championship games. First of all,
But
that's
yeah,
just
the
But
taunting.
do you think like this ref though? Like, is this a thing? Like, is this something people should actually look at, or are they just going to sweep this under the rug like everything else?
It really doesn't even matter anymore. The results are the results.
Right. I'm
yeah.
not
I don't
saying
think
you're
it
going to
was.
change
It
the
was.
results, but
I need
does
to look
that
at the
matter?
collusion of why Baltimore was so stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just I couldn't believe. Now, was Kelsey egging them on? Of course he was, but just some of the stupid decisions, stupid plays, and you're just like, you're doing it to yourselves now, and you can't blame anybody else but yourself.
How do you explain though the rushing attempts versus the drop back attempts and the game plan? How do you explain that?
Maybe overthinking. They thought maybe, oh, they're going to game plan for us to run the ball a bunch. We're just going to show them that we could pass.
So you're going to do that in the last game of the season.
I'm not saying it was smart.
I mean,
Wait,
that's what I'm saying. Is that's what you're thinking? Is like they're like, I'm totally going to change this up.
But see, that's the problem. You know what? Although in the next game, I'll go against this, but what's the adage? Dance with the partner you came with,
Right.
right? This is what you do. You are a running team. You have a
Run
running
the ball.
quarterback. You run the ball against a team that is not very good against the run.
It's just weird to me that a team, because there's no other game where if you look back, Baltimore said we're going to change up our plan. They never changed up their plan all year. But yet this game, they decided to only run the ball with their running back 6 times and drop back 82% of their plays.
Oh, it's a week later and I'm still pissed off.
yeah, it's dumb.
It's weird to me. So I mean, obviously Kansas City won that game. So let's get into San Francisco, Detroit.
Oh.
Probably equally as much heartburn for Derek in this game
Oh yeah.
because you obviously picked Detroit to win. But Wes, I think you and I both had San Francisco.
And if
Yeah,
Dan Campbell wasn't
I
stupid,
but I wanted when Detroit had the lead. I did want Detroit. I was like, you guys got this,
Right.
and then you saw it slip. Slowly you saw it slip away.
Is it a Dan? Is it Dan Campbell's fault? I guess that's what I want to hear from you guys. Is it Dan
yes.
Campbell's fault?
I'm going to put it this way, adage. Playoff football is different than regular season football. Just like playoff baseball is different, playoff basketball, you can't play the same game in each. Well, why? Because the margin of error is so small. You take the points.
Right. So you think the field goal, like you got to take the
Or
field
two
goal.
field goals they could have had.
Right.
Well,
but the most important is the last field goal.
Well, actually, it's probably the first because if he would have taken the first field goal, you wouldn't have to worry about the last field goal. He should have just even though their kicker hasn't been very good over 40 yards, the first one gives you a 3-score lead with not a whole lot of time left in the game when you look at statistically, because he didn't do that. He gave them life.
Well,
They
okay,
scored in like 3 plays.
I guess we are talking about the first field goal when I'm talking about that one. We're talking about the same field goal.
Yeah,
When it's
you make
24-27, you have the ball, you're in field goal range.
Well, it wasn't. It was over 40 yards, and the
Yeah,
kicker's
it was 48. It was 48-yard field goal.
He's 50%.
Right.
It's not Scott Norwood. This is 2024 now.
Yeah,
they can
they're
make
kicking like
40
60 yarders and there's nothing.
But here's the thing: if they would have done it in the first place, you're up 27-10.
All right. So what do you what do you think Campbell's thinking? It's 27-24, right?
Well, yeah. He's
And
thinking he doesn't want to go to overtime.
right.
We're
He
gonna
doesn't
lose in
he wants to
overtime.
run
Yeah,
them because there's what was there like 5 minutes left? About
it
5 minutes?
was around there.
Right. So what it was he want to do? He wants to run out the rest of the clock. He wants to get a first down there, run out the rest of the clock, score a
Score
touchdown,
a touchdown, win the game.
and then win the game.
That's understandable, but what people don't understand about playoff football, in the last, I think I said this last week or the week before, is actually it's like teams don't want it. You're on the road. We don't want to go to overtime. Dude, teams in the divisional and the championship round since 1970, the road teams won 13 and the home teams won 9.
Right.
Who cares if you're on the road or away? You know? And this, I like Tampa Bay.
Well, I don't.
We're not gonna use our last time out because we don't want to go to overtime. We're gonna
So I
lose.
don't. Here's what I think. And look, I'm not a Dan Campbell expert, but here's what I think that Dan Campbell was thinking. You're in a second half where you had a huge lead, and then now your team is reeling. They've caught up with you. They've actually taken the lead.
Yeah.
And you don't think you can stop them. So if you kick the field goal and tie it, they're going to drive downfield and just win anyway.
Right. In a sense.
And I'm still thinking the first one when the momentum was shifting to 49ers. If they would have kicked that field goal instead of going for it, and then 49ers scored in 3 plays, and then it was over.
Right.
Yeah.
Because then the momentum was gone from Detroit.
When the players look up at the scoreboard and they see 27-10, it's different than 24-10. There's a big difference mentally when they kick that field goal.
Right, you get 3 scores, right?
It's 3 scores. And if the Lions kick another field goal, it doesn't matter what happens. If the Niners score a touchdown, it's just he just kind of overthought everything.
Let's talk a little bit about the second half of this game and Derek's favorite subject, Brock Purdy. In the second half, right? I mean, this guy, he scrambles for first downs. He throws some really darts into small pockets. Like, do they win this game without the way Purdy played in the second half?
Who are you talking about? Quarterback? Sam Darnold?
I'm talking about
probably.
Purdy.
I think so. I don't think. I like Purdy, but we need to hold the horses. He's doing good, but it's not like it's him the reason they won. It's like, he threw and you're talking about throwing into coverage and dropping things. What about his past Ayuk? Right? That was pure luck. He threw it up and he was so lucky Ayuk came down with that.
Yeah,
just like
he rushed for 50 yards. He got, multiple first downs.
The Packers dropped 2 interceptions also. So, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, there's luck involved in the whole situation.
I like Purdy, and I hope he does well this Sunday, and that's where the thing is. But if you're relying on Purdy to win you the games, you lost. You need to rely on Debo, Ayuk, McCaffrey.
I mean, statistically, like he won them in the second half. And I don't know if you look back at the season stats of what he did, but everybody's like, "Oh, you're a system quarterback," but he led the league in like third down conversions and yards per completion and all these other stats that nobody talked about.
Okay, what were his stats without one player, Debo Samuel?
Still the same.
Were they?
He still led the league in all those stats.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, let's put Purdy on a different team, and what are we talking about here?
I mean, you don't know. You don't
You
look.
can't.
I mean,
You can't. It's
what if Joe Montana didn't have Jerry Rice, John
Right.
Taylor, Roger
That,
Craig, and John
that's
Rathman and
exactly
Brent
that's
Jones?
Well, he
That's
won 2 Super Bowls before them.
Yeah. And what if Peyton Manning didn't have Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison and Edgerton James
He
and
still won a
Marshall
Super Bowl
Falk?
without them.
he did win a Super Bowl badge.
But you're talking about a guy who's been in the league 2 years. Like you don't know how
That's
many
why
Super
I'm
Bowls.
saying you're putting him on a pedestal. I'm saying let's just wait and see. He's good,
Right.
but let's stop saying he's so great.
No, I'm not saying he's great. What I'm saying is you got to give him credit where credit is due.
We'll give
Here's the
him.
thing, okay.
I'll tell you
Brady,
what.
early Brady, do you consider him the greatest of all time?
No, but I also consider some of the things Brady did early in his career really well. Like the Rams game, Super Bowl. Did he do everything to win the game? No. But did he do a lot of good things to help them win the game? Yes, he did.
Right. Good things. Let's just put it away. Purdy right now is a good quarterback.
Right. I'm not
Not a great
saying
quarterback.
but I'm not saying he's the GOAT. No, I'm not saying he's there. But for people to tell me that he's a system quarterback and he's average and he's not that good, that's crazy.
I think he's better than average, but the problem is when you have McCaffrey, Debo Samuel, Ayuk, and Kittle, and you
And what
don't.
if you have, like I said, Edgerton James, Marvin Harrison, and Reggie Wayne? And what if you have Roger Craig, Jerry Rice, John Taylor, Brent Jones?
Joe Montana won 2 Super Bowls before any of those players came around.
But how many did he win with them?
No, but
2?
Here's the thing. Montana in 1982 when he won the first Super Bowl, all he had was Dwight Clark and a bunch of role players. And then the second one he had Wendell Tyler. I guess that's better, but he still didn't have any deep threats.
How many Super Bowls
but here's the thing. Patrick Mahomes is kind of in that same thing now where I just have George Kittle. I mean, excuse me, Kelsey. It's like he doesn't have those weapons.
How many Super Bowls did Dan Marino win? How many Super Bowls did Dan Marino win with Mark Duper and Mark Clayton?
Well, do we consider Clayton and Duper that great, though? Because, Marino kind of made them.
I mean, do you consider Ayuk and Debo that great?
Yeah, it's more the system.
Dude,
Okay, well, here's the thing.
This is his first good year. Debo is like a utility back at best.
He's a hybrid. He's a tween. But the way they use them, it's very skillful.
Okay, all right. All I have to say is Kaepernick and Garoppolo. Okay, what have they done that Purdy has done? All they've done the same. He needs to win this week.
I'm not saying he doesn't need to win, but what I'm saying is to eliminate him out of conversation and to try to say that it's because everybody has good players. Like every quarterback, I can name tons of quarterbacks that have had players that never won anything. Randall Cunningham had Chris Carter and Randy Moss. And what's his name at running back? Robert Smith. Did he win a Super Bowl? No.
And that's because Gary Anderson missed a field goal for the first time all season.
Oh, God.
I think what you're doing is you're overcompensating for the talking heads on like ESPN and stuff that are calling him garbage now. The fact is, we're not saying he's garbage. We're saying he's a good quarterback.
Exactly. I'm not saying he's garbage. And I want to debunk the fact because statistically, if you look at, and here's the problem. Everybody calls him a system quarterback and they talk about these things, but nobody looks at deep into the statistics where he led the league in third down conversions. He led the league in pass per attempts. He led the league in like all of these important quarterback statistics.
Yeah.
Some of those, I agree with you, but some of those statistics can be made to look better for him. If Deebo Samuel catches a 3-yard pass and takes it 80 yards, I mean, you're
But
saying,
it's
oh,
the
his
same
pass
as
protection.
Tyreek Hill taking a 3-yard pass and taking it for 80 yards. It happens. Like, that's just the way that
Yeah, I know.
works.
I'm just saying you can't. That's the whole offense of what they run. I mean, third down conversion, you have one of the best tight ends in the NFL, right? And then you've got McCaffrey. So you're going to be in like 3rd and 3, not 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9.
But
I mean, the
the
problem is
percentage is what matters, right? The completion percentage is what matters.
right. But I mean, if you're throwing 3-4 yard passes and completing them all, and then they're running for 10 yards, then you're going to have a good completion percentage, right?
So why can't Justin Fields do that?
Because his players aren't
See,
Ayuk and Kittle and Samuel, and they throw in 20 screens a game.
yeah,
Yeah.
the point is that
You have
when
Trent Williams, you have a great offensive line. I mean,
you try to call someone a system player, I don't think it is as much as what it's made out to be when you
So
look at statistically what he's done.
someone actually, what people are starting to say now is he's a game manager. But then other people pointed out that other game managers at kind of the similar age, Brady at first was a game manager, and he won a couple Super Bowls early in his career. So sometimes it's better just to be a game manager. I mean, obviously Lamar's not a game manager. Where is he at right now? I mean, it's a team game. No one is like I said, this isn't look at John Elway. Look at all the talent John Elway had early in his career. What did it get him? It got him no Super Bowls.
He has 4
Zero.
losses though.
Huh? It
He got
got
him
it
4
got
losses.
three losses. They got him
yeah,
three losses.
but he had no talent around him.
Exactly. So it's never nothing. There's nothing that's been uh, a perfect scenario for any of these guys that play quarterback in the NFL. It's always look at Josh Allen. Look how much talent Josh Allen has, and what has it gotten anybody? It's because you have to have the right mix, and the Niners have the right mix, and we'll see what happens.
I think I mean, I don't know if you saw this, but Joe Montana went on Pat McAfee's show, talked about Purdy. And I think it's a really good just kind of a higher look at, hey, this guy is a lot like me. He played within his offense like I did.
Yeah,
Would you call Joe Montana the greatest quarterback in the world when you first saw him? Probably not, dude. In his first couple years, was he doing things that Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen were doing? No. What was he
He
doing?
wasn't set up for success either. The 49ers were pretty bad when he first started to be there.
But but you're talking about one of the greatest ever to talk about, hey, this is a very good comparison to someone playing, and
Also, a
throwing the
guy
ball
that's a
well.
49er talking about a 49er. So, of course, he's going to talk him up.
I mean, you could say it that way, or you could just say that he was just really just evaluating what he saw. Or you could
I'm
say,
not
hey,
disagreeing with you that Purdy's not a good quarterback. I'm just saying he's not great. Plus, he has 5 all-pro offensive players playing with him. 5.
I can name a tons of quarterbacks who have the same.
5 all-pros
Yeah, over the
right
years.
now.
Sure. Not right in today, but over the years, Peyton Manning had that. Joe Montana had that. Like lots of quarterbacks had that.
And they won Super Bowls.
Right. And Brock Purdy's in his second year, dude. Like, what do you want this guy to do?
The problem is yeah, he's in his second year. Peyton Manning didn't have anything in his first few years. Joe Montana didn't have any. See, that's the thing. It's like, oh, Brock Purdy's doing this all in his second year. Yeah, because he's gifted a Super Bowl team.
When did Peyton Manning have Marvin Harrison, Edgerrin James on his team?
Wasn't the first year.
Or Marshall Faulk. And yeah, it was the second year.
He also had to go up against Brady all that time.
Well, yeah. Right.
I mean, I'm just saying this. Garoppolo took this team to a Super Bowl. Garoppolo.
That's funny.
And what does that mean? I don't get it.
It means anyone probably could take this team to a Super Bowl.
Jimmy G.
And Jimmy G had some good numbers.
Right, because he's a system quarterback in a system.
So
why did we have to bring up Jimmy G into this?
right. So when somebody has good numbers, they're a system quarterback. What if when they don't? Right?
Well, when they leave a team that's a system and sucks, then you know they were a system quarterback.
Or they go play for a team that's not good.
Oh, I want to say one thing, dude. I watched, they had a Super Bowl highlight marathon, and I literally watched like 35 Super Bowls. I mean, but just watching all the different ways teams have won a Super Bowl. Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
ridiculous.
talk about Trent Dilfer winning a Super Bowl.
Trent Dilfer did. That was funny. But even seeing the ones that lost, like Chandler, like how did Chandler or
Stan Humphries?
Stan Humphries probably the worst quarterback that made the Super Bowl. Stan Humphries. It's
Well,
just
look
like
at when
Rex Grossman.
the Bucks beat the Raiders, dude.
Brad
The
Johnson.
Bucks were trash.
Bucks were a top 2 defense.
Yeah, their offense was awful.
Yeah, the Raiders ran Gruden's playbook and didn't even change the play calls. The defense knew exactly what was going to be called.
Their defense didn't have what, 2? Was it 2 or 3 pick sixes?
Yeah. Plus their center decided to have a mental breakdown and go off to Tijuana the night before the game.
Oh, jeez.
And you're forgetting the worst winning quarterback. And I'll say this, anytime I watch this game, I can't believe they won a Super Bowl because he sucked so bad. Jeff Hostetler.
You hand the ball off to Otis Anderson 26 times.
Yeah, and the
30
other
times,
times
it
when
might
he
have been
threw the
more.
ball, it
Old
was
man Otis.
bad. Like he was like throwing 5-yard patterns and throwing it like 2 yards.
That's a great.
Hostetler was so bad in that
Let's
game.
talk about Buffalo for a second. We talk about system quarterbacks.
Oh,
Okay,
Jim Kelly. You got Thurman Thomas and Andre Reed,
James Lofton, and a novelty offense.
And you can't. I mean, you're going to blame Brock Purdy compared to Jim Kelly?
No, I'm saying Brock Purdy's only in his second year. If he loses 4 Super Bowls, then yes. That's the thing. If he wins the Super Bowl, then okay, great. He's still just a good quarterback. If he continues on the path, then he's a great quarterback. But right now, he's in his second year. He's a good quarterback. He got hurt last year. I mean, who knows? I just think
it's just tough to you put people, not you, but obviously the analysts and a lot of people are like putting him into this pigeonhole, and I just don't agree with it.
Well,
it's because that's what they do. They are like overreact when he was really doing well at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
They're like, oh my God, he's great. Look at him, looking pretty real. And then he had it down when Debo got hurt. And then everyone's like, ooh. And then he came back up and did good. But then everyone wasn't like, oh, Purdy. No, we need to talk about Lamar or Patrick Mahomes. Purdy's just this. I mean, Purdy's good.
Well, you guys know, did you hear what the DEI NFL said? You know what the DEI is? Diversity, inclusion, and
Oh yeah, yeah. I've heard
so
about
they
that.
said it'll be a travesty to the NFL if the 49ers win in Black History Month
Oh,
and Brock Purdy becomes the face of the NFL.
you gotta be kidding me.
No,
What is
that's what they
that?
said. It's a
Who
travesty.
are they? Who are these people?
They're the DEI, the diversity,
Are they?
inclusion.
Do they have a council? I don't know who these people are.
Can
Is
you
there like
imagine that?
Jay-Z on the council?
Huh?
I think Jay-Z's on it, isn't he?
It's crazy.
Why are they even? Why do we even know who these people are? They're delusional.
Dude, I mean, come on, man. It's a travesty to the Black History Month if Brock
Well,
Purdy wins a Super Bowl.
I said this to somebody a couple days ago because I saw I've seen the last couple of years. I think the NFL, someone in the NFL's brain trust who thought of moving the Super Bowl, keep moving the Super Bowl back, should have said, you know what, if we do this, we're entering Black History Month. And this is going to be the dominant thing
Gotta
over
have
the Super Bowl.
Patrick Mahomes got to win, dude, because he's part of the DEI. So let's talk about the Super Bowl.
He's half white though, also.
No, he's not. He's not. That's what you don't understand. That doesn't exist. It's all or nothing, dude.
Dude,
Was
we
it
went into
was it
black
in the
hole,
racial
man.
draft with Chappelle? Was Mahomes was drafted to the black team?
He was drafted to the black by Ashy Larry.
Oh no, dude.
You were Ashy Larry, dude. It's so funny. That was in the dice one. Remember the dice one?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember Ashley Larry.
Yeah, in the World Series of Dice.
And then the white population, we select Taylor Swift, then the Swifties.
Dude.
All right, well, let's talk about Super Bowl. Let's get into the Super Bowl. Well, I mean, you got to talk about it, right? Kansas City. Oh man,
You can't even say it.
dude. I mean, you got so this Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, Kansas City.
Versus Mr. Irrelevant.
Like you take it away from everything because here's what Kansas City has done, right? The reality is that Kansas City's a team. I don't think anybody expected them to be in the Super Bowl this year.
Well, at the beginning of the year, yes, but then how they were
No,
playing.
yeah, like halfway through the year, or yeah, as the year went on, would you have picked Kansas City as a Super Bowl team?
No, like the Raiders dominated them.
Right. They lost to Denver. Like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, when you're being a defending champion like they are, it's like you're kind of on a different platform than like Buffalo losing all those games. You know, Kansas City can recover, and Buffalo couldn't. So,
They've been there how many years? It's
yeah, they have a blueprint, and did they go off the blueprint? Yeah, and they had a lot of. Someone was talking today about the distraction. Taylor Swift was a distraction for the whole thing, but at the same point, they found a way to go back to the blueprint of winning in the playoffs.
And then
And that's what-
Kelsey basically decided to take the season off and then become himself again in the playoffs.
But yeah. So
Yeah, I mean, so talking about Kansas City's journey to get there, right? It's the first time in their playoffs where they haven't been favored to win games,
Yeah, first time they've had to go on the road.
right? They had to go on the road. They weren't favored, and yet now they're still in the Super Bowl.
Right.
there's a lot of stupidity from teams like Buffalo and the Ravens. The
I
reason
mean,
why
can you really take that away from Kansas City though? Like,
No, but
you gotta
I'm
kind
still
of
the Ravens. If
respect
they
where
just
they're
would have
at.
ran the ball 4 more times, maybe they would have won.
well,
You gotta
But-
respect where Kansas City's at right now.
I respect. I think what people overlooked is how their defense can make stops. They're good at making stops, but are they a really good defense? Obviously not. But they do enough to get stops, and that's what it matters in playoff football. I mean, the days of the great defenses, they just don't exist. It's all about getting stops when they matter. And
Well,
that's
they have
what
really good pass defense, and that's where I'm going with. If Purdy has to win the game for him, they're going to lose, and not because Purdy's bad. It's just the Jim Schwartz coverage schemes. Like he'll bullet, he has crazy blitzes, and that's hard to handle for a second-year player.
yeah.
They need the running game. They need McCaffrey to
But San Francisco,
get it so they can play action.
by heart, is a running team.
Well, so are the Ravens. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I
They have
mean,
to do.
You actually have to run the ball though.
Yeah, they have to
be
do
a running
what
team.
got them here, right? Let's not have Purdy throw it 50 times.
Okay, so what if San Francisco came out and ran the ball 6 times with McCaffrey? What would you say then?
Perfect.
You would say, what is actually happening right now?
They'd be like, here, and then we're going to run 7 times in a row with the running back to show you that we can run the ball more than 6 times in a game.
Because if San Francisco ran the ball 6 times with their running backs, which they run less than Baltimore on average, you'd be like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You'd be like, fire Kyle Shanahan.
No, I would actually. No, I'm all for running the ball.
That's what I'm saying. If they ran it less, like 6 times or less.
Oh, I thought you said 6 times in a row at the beginning of the game.
No, I'm saying because Baltimore only ran the ball 6 times with their running backs, right?
That would be. Here's my problem here. I don't like Kyle Shanahan. Because of that, his hubris in big games has had them lose games.
Yeah. Yeah, he's lost 2 Super Bowls.
Derek's frozen.
He's frozen. Is he like Han Solo? In carbonite?
In carbonite.
Frozen.
I couldn't imagine if San Francisco came out and ran the ball 8 times. Like, what would you think about as a fan? The same way as if you were a Baltimore fan last week. Why would you run the ball 6 times with your running backs?
There's but the way they can use Debo and McCaffrey, they could throw they could throw it in a way where it's like they could throw the ball to control the game.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
It's like if the Kansas City comes out, it's like, at all costs, we are not going to let McCaffrey run on us.
Right.
They are going to have to go to plan B, and they're going to have to get the ball on the edge to Deebo Samuel. And in that sense, they're going to have to throw the ball to him and McCaffrey.
So let's say Kansas City stacks a box, 8 in the box, right?
Yeah.
You still think San Francisco would run the ball 6 times?
Well, no.
No.
I still can't believe how stupid Baltimore is. I think the problem is we have to understand that you can't fix stupid or crazy. I'm not a big John Harbaugh fan anymore. I haven't been for a few years. I think he's allowed – everyone wants to – Lamar's such a great player. He's a great talent. He is not a good quarterback.
Right.
And everyone's like, hey, look at him. We're going to throw the ball every damn because he's such a great passer. He's not a good passer. You can't throw the ball like this.
Yeah, sideways.
All the great quarterbacks, how many of them throw it like this?
No.
Or throw it like this?
Nobody.
No, they don't. Did Marino just throw it like that? Yeah, but he threw it like that.
Well, sometimes, but sometimes that was his quick release, dude. That's when he was just trying to get rid of the ball.
It's almost like Baltimore and John Harbaugh said, you know what? No, we're gonna ride our MVP and show everybody what a great passer he is. He's not that good. That's all there's to it. So, he missed so many passes in that game. It's ridiculous. He can't throw it.
Though, if like San Francisco comes out, then they run the ball 6 times. Would you not then be suspicious?
What do you mean suspicious?
I'd be suspicious if.
What are you talking about here, Dave?
Ran the ball 6 times, and then San Francisco
ran the ball. What are you talking about suspicious, though? What are we talking about here?
I'm talking about like what the hell's going on here.
Oh, I know what you're saying here. Oh, I know what you're saying. Okay, yes. If San Francisco came out and only ran the ball 6 times, I would be suspicious myself.
I would too. After Baltimore just did it.
That's true. I agree. But I don't think San Francisco would do that because Kyle Shanahan will get roasted for the rest of his life. He comes out and runs the ball 6 times.
What do you think John Harbaugh's getting roasted right now?
He won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but he just ran the ball 6 times in the last playoff game.
Because Lamar Jackson's so great. I mean, yes, you're right. Dude, Kyle Shanahan, you know what everyone's saying the first couple days of media day? Who has the most pressure? Everyone says Kyle Shanahan.
Right. I've seen that.
And he's going to go out in the biggest game of his life and not unload the clip. He has to unload your best stuff. You save it for now. Maybe in Super Bowl 54, he didn't put out his best stuff. You better put out your best stuff, or you will be the biggest lame duck coach in the history of the NFL. Forget Bud Grant, forget Marv Levy, forget any of these guys. You will be the biggest lame duck coach.
I don't know if you can forget Marv Levy, dude.
Huh?
I don't know if you can forget Marv Levy. Dude, that guy got dominated.
Oh, Marv Levy was like the old guy that you just feel sorry for. I mean, but he better unload that clip. If he runs the ball 6 times like Baltimore did, he's an idiot.
No, you have to give the ball to McCaffrey 20, 25 times minimum, right?
Yeah.
And if you don't, there's something wrong with that. Because I'm not a professional coach. You're not a professional coach. Derek's not a professional coach. But every single one of us would give the ball to McCaffrey 20 to 25 times.
Come on, you guys are professional coaches on Madden.
Can you imagine a scenario if you were the coach that you would not hand the ball off to McCaffrey?
Why don't you just tell everybody what you're really thinking, Steve? Because I already know what you're thinking. Come on, dude. Just listen.
I mean, I'm not saying it's scripted, but what I'm saying, I'm kind of saying it's scripted. I mean, Is it not a little bit?
It is. No, you know what? It is a conversation because how can Baltimore be that stupid?
Because how can Baltimore? Because John Harbaugh's not an idiot. He's not the best coach in the world, but he's not an idiot, and he's not going to run the ball 6 times. Like there's something wrong with that.
330 million reasons why.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez. Oh, it's true. Oh, God.
That's what Swift is bringing in.
Hey, I'm going to tell you this right now.
Look,
let's just skip their predictions right now because if Kansas City wins and Travis Kelce proposes to Taylor Swift, then we know.
dude, it's going to be like, that'll be the biggest event
We're
ever.
going to Disneyland! Right? Watch.
It will
and
be the biggest event
in egg on their face.
Or meat. Already, right? They already predicting that this Super Bowl will be the most watched event ever.
I don't know
They've
why.
For the first time ever, they've started putting. It's going to be like makeup and other commercials. They've got in commercials now.
Right. Well, and when you're about to say that more people are going to watch this Super Bowl than has watched anything ever in the history of the world.
Dude,
They've already said it. It's going to happen.
You know, it's fun. Like,
and then if you're going to tell me, and I don't know how the Super Bowl is going to go. My prediction, so let's give our predictions. I'm taking San Francisco 28-10.
I've got San Francisco 24-17 with Brock Purdy as the MVP.
Brock Purdy is the
because
MVP.
the quarterback wins it no matter what.
No matter what. Yeah. What do you got, Wes?
He's got to go Swifties, I think.
He's going Swifties.
Oh, God, dude, I'm not gonna go out like that.
Let's go on Mahomes.
Travis Kelce wins MVP.
No.
But loses. He'll be like, what's his face? Chuck Howley in Super Bowl 5. No, I'm taking San Francisco too. I'm gonna say I hate this. I hate it. 26-21.
So we're all taking San Francisco.
Yeah. I think the problem with I watched opening night last night, and me and my dad were out at dinner with some people, and I mean the kids I miss media day. Give me some. I just want to watch my media day, and that's it. I don't need the fireworks. I don't need the fans. I don't need the little kid with the microphone. Oh, he's so cute. It's like, wow, what a concept. Kids are cute. He's like the only cute kid we've ever seen in our whole entire life, right? So why does he have to be on for the whole time? I mean, I just want to watch my media day like I used to for the last 30 years. And the thing is I realized something. The Kansas City Chiefs are like a hot air balloon, and someone needs to pop it. And there's only one team to do that, and it's the San Francisco 49ers. And if the San Francisco 49ers don't do it, this time it will be the end of the San Francisco 49ers out of the franchise.
Well,
you have your opportunity. Pop the balloon and save the rest of the country the headache of.
I hate to break it to you, Pocahontas, but it's a whole new world.
It's a whole
new world. That might be something else. But look, dude.
I hope
we're running into this. We're running into this like it's a new media and like hype. I wouldn't bet anything on Kansas City in this game. If you look at this game on paper, could Kansas City actually win this game?
Should they have won the Ravens game? Should they have won the Bills game?
They couldn't have won either of those games, right? But then now, even compared to those games, right? Now compare them to 49ers roster,
I was going to say this would be one of the biggest upsets in Super Bowl history.
But is it? Like, that's the problem.
Here's the thing about, even though the matchup is nauseating when you look at it as the teams, the franchises themselves, but it's probably going to be a pretty physical football game because there's a lot on the line for both franchises. And I'm going to tell you, Kansas City's not going to go down without a fight unless they actually think that they're bigger than the NFL. When I was watching opening night, it's almost like they think they're bigger than the brand. They're bigger than the Shield. And that is a dangerous. There's been a lot of teams, dynasties that went down in flames in the last 20 years. The Packers thought, oh, we're going to be a dynasty. What happened? The Broncos came in and beat them. Then the Rams thought, we're the greatest show on turf. Then the Patriots beat them. You know, this has happened a lot. And so if they come in and think, oh, yeah, we're the Kansas City Chiefs, we're going to show up, they're going to get punched in the mouth. I'll guarantee you this. I've listened a lot of Joey Bosa talk about how horrible he thought, you know, after he lost the first Kansas City Super Bowl. He's like, I couldn't even watch the game, but I had to watch the game because we're playing them again. And he watched the game. He's like, I was just sick to my stomach. I think the X factor also is a guy like Joey Bosa and the defense. I think Joey Bosa is going to get after
Nick Bosa.
Whatever.
Well,
Sorry.
I don't think Mahomes has been sacked these playoffs.
But here's the thing. After watching Buffalo and the Ravens, I think you can't let Mahomes – the big thing is you can't let Mahomes run around. You got to be old school. Let's put a defensive specialist and just – we will not let him run the ball, and we'll just – you can't let Kelsey run around by himself, catching passes. Let everybody else beat you but them.
Yeah.
Let Mahomes sit in the pocket and, okay, I'm going to have to throw it to Rashid White or Pachenko's going to beat us. You can't let Kelsey run around by himself.
If you look at Kansas City, right? So you got Travis Kelsey, sponsored by Pfizer.
Oh,
he's not that much better than George Kittle as far as just athleticism. Is the statistics better? It's a lot better. But if you put both of them out on the field one-on-one, it's not a huge difference.
No.
I'll take Kelsey in the end. Sure. If you're going to give me the choice, I'll take Kelsey. But am I losing a lot with Kittle? Probably not.
Better blocker is Kittle.
Kittle's a better blocker, but Kelsey's still a better catcher. He's a better route runner. I'll take Kelsey in the end, right? And then Mahomes, obviously a better quarterback. If I'm going to take, I'm going to compare Purdy and Mahomes, I'm taking Mahomes, 100%. But every other player on the roster, every single player on the roster, I will take San Francisco's players.
But if you watch people's prediction in the first couple days, Chris Jones, yeah.
I mean, even Chris Jones, like I'm still looking at, some of the interior linemen. Like, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's a good argument, but
yeah.
I mean, I'm nitpicking. He's the only one.
Right. But you're still looking at some really good.
The corners are definitely better for the Chiefs.
I mean,
Snead and McDuffie.
Yeah.
They're way better.
I don't know. I'm still.
Wes, what did you say at the beginning of the year? The 49ers' biggest deficit is in their secondary, in their corners.
Yeah, it is. And the Lions exposed them a little early.
I don't know. I think Spagnuolo does a really good job at helping his corners, with the way he sets up his defense to make them look better than they are. I'm not saying they're bad. I don't think they're bad.
The thing about the game is, I mean, watching all those Super Bowl highlights and just how physical the game was until about 2015. And you could see the difference. You could see the drop off in the physicality just in the highlights. But I think this is going to be the most physical Super Bowl we've seen in the new age, whole new world, if you want to put it that way, Dave. You're going to see these guys
new world.
Physical. It's not going to be like the Philadelphia and Kansas. I don't want to hear about that being the best Super Bowl. It's the best Super Bowl ever. It wasn't physical. It's got to be a physical football game for it to be the best Super Bowl ever.
What is the best Super Bowl ever?
In Super Bowl 23 when Tim Cromwell broke his leg in the game?
Is that the best Super Bowl ever?
But you know how the media is. They're like, "Oh, look, it's the best Super Bowl." No, it's not. Oh, it's the highest scoring Super Bowl by. No, it's not. It's Super Bowl 52 is the highest scoring by 2 teams, but it was the closest of highest scoring teams, 37-34.
So what is the best Super Bowl ever?
You have to break it down into 3 eras: old school, modern, and new age. And then you could say the best of those groups. You can't compare Super Bowl 10 to Super Bowl 51. They're different.
Like, is that because you're having GOAT conversations? It's like, this guy wasn't as good because he played a different era.
Super Bowl 10, there's like 20 Hall of Famers on the field. Like fucking the Steelers and the Cowboys. I mean, you have like 20 Hall of Famers on the field.
How about this? Impromptu poll. Your top 3 Super Bowls, but we need to leave out the Raiders and the Bears. Let's go with the top 3 best Super Bowls.
Oh, jeez.
Top 3 best Super Bowls.
Why, dude?
Yeah.
What do you mean, top 3 best Super Bowls?
The best games that you thought of. When you watch them, you were like, man, these games were the best.
I don't. What was the Cincinnati, San Francisco Super Bowl?
That was 23.
23. That for
From
me.
Right breaking his leg. Yeah, John Taylor catching the touchdown.
John Taylor, yeah, that's got to be in the top 3 for me.
Yeah. Rams Titans.
Oh, that was close.
It's close. It was a good game. It was good.
I mean, because it comes down to the last play, and when the Titans, you get the catch and they get stops at the 1. I mean, that's good. It's good stuff.
My particular favorite is Pittsburgh and Arizona. Just the way.
Oh yeah, dude. When who is it? Santonio Holmes.
Yeah.
Catches that pass.
But even that, Fitzgerald just balled.
Right.
Just balled. And Warner's out there just diamond.
Remember though when what's his name? James
Harrison.
Harrison has the 100-yard touchdown return.
Yeah.
Dude, that was a good game. That was good.
How about the David Tyree catch game?
Right.
Giants Patriots.
Oh, what about Marshawn Lynch, dude?
God.
Dude.
Yeah.
When Malcolm gets the interception at the 1.
No. I watched the Super Bowl highlight of that, and they had everybody mic'd up.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. And Richard Sherman.
Brutal. And you know what happened is remember the back shoulder to Matthews when they scored in the first half? So you know who made Russell Wilson goes to Carroll and he says, "Hey dude, I'll do a back shoulder throw." And Carroll's like, "Yeah, if you think you could do it, do it." And so I guarantee you Russell Wilson on the interception was like, "Hey, just let's throw the slant." And I was like, "Oh yeah, it's Russell Wilson."
No, what happened was Pete Carroll knew that there was a division, and he didn't want Marshawn Lynch to get the glory. He wanted his pretty boy quarterback to get the glory because Marshawn and Rich and the defense were, wanting together. Right. He wanted Russell Wilson to get that MVP.
So
That might be true because why else would you throw the ball on the one?
No, he's there's that sentiment, and
Because
everyone
there's a
knows.
lot to be said about that. You have the best, most biggest running back at the time from 1 yard away. Why would you throw the ball?
So bad.
But you gotta think about the Redskins and Timmy Smith.
That's come on,
Dude,
that
was
that was
that the biggest domination and they were just scoring and
with backups,
scoring.
because Doug Williams and Timmy Smith were backups.
But it wasn't even that they were backups, it's the way they were scoring with big runs and big passes, and it was just so exciting.
You could do.
It was exciting in the second quarter, and the game's over.
Right.
You could have done any of the Broncos Super Bowls then. The 49ers one. That was exciting if you're a 49ers fan.
Although the comeback, right? The Patriots coming back on the Falcons.
Yeah, the Patriots and Falcons was a pretty darn good game, and it was physical too. I don't like the games that I like the physical Super Bowls. Honestly, one of my old school favorite Super Bowls to watch is Super Bowl 12. You won't find a more physical football game than Super Bowl 12. Those defense, like Tom Jackson, he was just a maniac.
Right,
He was
right.
destroying it in that game. I mean, it was such a physical football game.
See, the problem I have with the
they didn't have a lot of offense.
Yeah. The Patriots Atlanta and then the Patriots Seattle one is it was the other team was so stupid in those games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the other games, they were like really good games. And this one was like, dude, you don't give it to Marshawn Lynch. You don't give it to Devontae Freeman one time in the second half. I mean,
yeah. And if we're gonna go, I do like Baltimore, San Francisco. That was
yes,
good game. That was a physical game. That was a good game.
Well, remember, it wasn't gonna be a good game because Baltimore was up big when the lights went out. And then the Niners came back.
And that's why I like the Steelers and Packers too, because it was a physical game. They got up on them early. They came back. But there's a lot of those Super Bowls. A lot of those teams never came back. The Baltimore, the Giants game, it was over when they kicked the ball off. I mean, the Giants were – I don't even know how the Giants got to the Super Bowl.
Dude, that Giants-Buffalo game. Are you
kidding me? He threw 4 interceptions in the game.
Dude, the Giants-Buffalo game that you guys are hating on with Hostetler earlier, though, that was a good
No, I'm just saying Hostetler was a horrible quarterback.
That was a good game, though.
Yeah. Well, I am in the process of watching every Super Bowl, the whole game. And yeah, I remember doing it last year. And I remember watching it because I'm like, when we were kids watching it, you just remember stuff. You remember Otis Anderson. I remember, Hostetler went to the Raiders after that. So he must have done good. No, he didn't. I was like,
are you mad that he went to the Raiders and sucked?
No, if you
watch Collins, why do we get everybody? Hey, you know what? Why don't we get Larry Brown, right? The big hero of Super Bowl 30, which was
now I go.
It was fully fit.
Here's some homework.
Through the game.
Watch that full game again and tell me that Jeff Hostetler was a good quarterback in that game.
Horrible.
And Wes, we're forgetting the worst you're saying the worst quarterback in the Super Bowl?
Neil O'Donnell.
Yes.
Neil O'Donnell.
Oh my God, dude.
Well, he threw the interceptions to Larry Brown, dude.
Dude, the second one, there wasn't a Steeler on my screen. I'm like, there's not a Steeler. Where are you throwing the ball, dude? That's a Cowboy.
I thought he was doing one of these things.
I thought you were doing one of those. Oh, dude, yeah, it's hard to look at some of those, but there's some Super Bowls that you just remember as just great Super Bowls.
Yeah, for me, nostalgia-wise, it's 22.
Yeah,
I'm an old school Super Bowl guy. I like the old ones. I like Super Bowl 7. I love it how it's like jousting. Hey, you're going to run up the middle, and we're going to run up the middle. And when you guys stop us, then we're going to throw the ball deep. None of this 5-yard passes crap. They didn't throw 5-yard passes in the 70s. They either threw it deep or they ran the ball.
Yeah, you gotta admit though, that was a little boring.
It was not. Larry Zonka running like for 50 yards and running over dudes. It's fun.
50 yards on 50 carries.
No, it was
No,
like
that's
10 carries.
that's not Zonka. That's John Riggins.
No, John Riggins has the most. He had like 38 carries for 160 yards against the Dolphins. That was stupid. That was boring.
Yeah, because you're still like running for 4 yards a game.
That's how they beat the Dolphins.
Wes just hates that because they beat the Dolphins.
I cried. I was a kid.
I mean, I've watched a lot of the old Super Bowl clips, and I mean it's not bad, but the newer is better.
Bad. Super Bowl 2 is not good. Like it started getting good around Super Bowl 5. Super Bowl 5 is actually a decent game.
I still have a problem because for me it's football, it's basketball, it's even baseball. The 80s and the 90s were just so much better to watch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's because that's when the players got so good physically and they let them, hey, let's not put so many restrictions on everybody. And what happened was they realized, oh shoot, these guys are going to kill each other. We have to,
But they still had it was still a team game, like in basketball, it was still
yeah.
In football, it was the good players still were standing out, and they were still. It wasn't just like playing this like today. I mean, look at the running game today.
That sucks. It's terrible.
It does, dude. You're like, what are you doing? You're just running 3 different running backs, and just swap them out all the time.
No, Marcus Allen running like 5 yards to the sideline, then reversing his field and looking like a deer going for 80 yards.
Let's give Emmitt Smith the ball 30 times.
Although you could say this Super Bowl has 2 teams with bell cows.
Yeah.
Well, McCaffrey's cool.
Well, I mean, and that's the problem I said. If you don't give McCaffrey the ball 20 to 25 times, it's the fix is in.
Right. Well, I mean,
we already know what the fix is going to be. It's Travis proposing to Taylor and going to Disney.
Right. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Or State Farm. Or what else do they all do?
He's like, hey, my name's Travis Kelce and I have a fade. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Well, then it's going to be, we're going to Disneyland for our wedding. Sponsored by Disney.
Sponsored by Pfizer. Dude, everything, dude. It's like Talladega Nights, dude, where he has to say sponsored by Pfizer after everything he talks about.
Dude,
I'm telling you, dude, there's something wrong with what's happening.
It's sick.
People want to talk about Taylor Swift. I don't care about Taylor Swift. I don't care. It's not a thing to me. I don't want to have a conversation about that. I want to have a conversation about why John Harbaugh ran the ball 6 times with his running backs. That's the conversation I want to have. I want to know why the ref that they brought in at the last minute, 9 of the 10 games he refed in the playoffs, the home team won, and 80% of his penalty calls were on the home team, which was the same. It's like, why is this happening?
Yeah, and another thing that is worrisome is how everyone's recycled within the coordinator positions. There's a brain trust that sits in the booth that you don't see that actually has their hands all over these games. You don't see these people, right? Like, how does Arthur Smith have another job already?
Well,
Are you
he's a good
kidding me?
OC.
Same way Luke Getzey
Dude,
does, dude.
he's probably the worst. He ran one of the worst offensive schemes last year, and he gets an OC job at Pittsburgh, and you think Steeler fans are happy about it?
Well,
How are the Raiders fans feeling about Luke Getzey?
I already told you how I feel. It's stupid. You know? And they all it's like a big it's a good old boys network now. It's like, why don't you do something different? What, you look good sucking. Congratulations. I mean, we got Kansas City's so great. Well, maybe it's because everyone else sucks so much. How about that one? Tell me, I'm not joking. Look at
No,
the
it
playoffs.
actually
Look
might
at the Dolphins.
be.
Look
It
at
might
the
be
Bills.
true.
I mean, I don't know how many times I've seen on my computer, oh, Baker Mayfield might get an extension. Who cares about Baker Mayfield? Who cares? He had a great year. Congratulations. Jake Plummer had really one good year too.
Jake
Where do you know?
Plummer.
Jake Plummer had like 2 good years.
He just pulled out Jake Plummer, dude. I mean, I don't know that Baker Mayfield had a great year, did he?
Pro Bowler.
Did I really just say Jake Plummer? That just totally
that
came
was
out of
hilarious,
nowhere.
dude. Like you brought up Jake Plummer. Well, I know how Wes feels about that. Are you not disappointed, Derek, with Luke Getzey?
Oh, jeez.
Well, I'm more disappointed that I don't know who the quarterback's going to be. But yes, I am disappointed. I mean, like you talked about Bieniemy. I don't know. He's got domestic violence on his thing, and that's like a thing Raiders don't deal with.
Nobody wants him as head coach because of that.
The problem is they waited so long to do everything that everyone good is gone. I mean, the Bears had interviewed Kingsbury like 3 weeks ago, and they turned him down. So it was kind of like they were like, "Oh, well, I guess we'll just take Kingsbury. He's the only one left."
Yeah.
And then Kingsbury like used them to get more money with the Commanders. And then they're like, "Oh, I guess we'll do Getsy because we've interviewed him."
Let me rephrase this. I did not do. I'm not very articulate or artful. There's a lot of yes men in the NFL that have jobs that shouldn't have jobs. You have to be a yes man. And the Arthur Smiths and the Getskis, you know what? They probably went to offensive coordinator night school all together. You know, they're really
Plus,
good.
you got to say yes, white yes men, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, hey, you know who's a really good offensive coordinator? Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
You
Well,
can always hire Bill Belichick.
the other one, and this is where I'm at. Okay, so Getsy, I gotta see because he was with the Packers when Devontae was there. Okay.
Yeah, and he also had a guy called Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, but I mean, he's got a rapport with Devontae, so we'll see. Remember, Wes said at the beginning, keep Devontae Adams happy, right? So,
And you know how you do that? You get him a quarterback.
Yeah, you're
yeah,
like, hey,
well,
hey, Aiden, can you please throw the ball like Aaron Rodgers?
now the other one, and this one was like intriguing, like 10 years ago. They were talking to Chip Kelly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was circulating too. That you know, there that was a possibility.
Would you rather have Getsy or Chip Kelly?
Look, dude,
That's
I don't think Chip Kelly did that bad with the Eagles, to be honest with
I
you.
know, but he's got like the biggest ego in the world though. How is he going to be an OC to Antonio Pierce? Like you do, I know where Wes is going, but you do need yes men at your coordinator positions because you don't want them being a Buddy Ryan to Mike Ditka, right? I mean, and overthrowing the team.
Here's the thing about the whole Chip. Chip is a college coach, and he was a great coach when he was manned. He's outmanned, outgunned. He said, "You know what? We're going to play diversion ball, and then we'll try to beat you that way." And he almost did. when you have to play straight up, like 20 teams in the NFL basically run a regurgitated offense as the same team. They run the same crap and they suck. So why not try something different? I mean, you're not as talented as the Bills or the Eagles, but look at the Eagles. They fell on their face. Try something different. Look at the Rams, what they did with the greatest show on turf. You know?
A lot of times, though,
teams didn't know what to do.
A lot of times, though, that comes down like to guys like Mahomes, like that. He just makes plays, dude. Like he's outside of the offense. He's not. And if you wanna, if you wanna give me a legitimate argument of Brock Purdy, here's the argument you could give me. Brock Purdy is an X's and O's guy. He can play within the X's and O's, and he can do it well. But outside of those X's and O's, he has a hard time.
Shanahan,
Where
Brock Purdy was a rookie.
Patrick Mahomes, dude, it doesn't matter what the play is. He's going to make it happen. And if he can't make it happen, he's going to scramble. If he can't scramble, he's going to fall on the ground and throw it before he's 1 inch away from the ground or behind his back with his eyes closed.
It's the same thing as comparing John Elway to Joe Montana. That's what we're talking about. Is Brock Purdy is like Montana and Josh Allen's like John Elway. And that's what we're talking about.
Well, you forget, though, Joe Montana, his early years, he was a scrambler.
He was. And honestly, that's
he
what
ran the option.
A lot of games.
He was an option quarterback at Notre Dame, dude. He literally ran the option.
Yeah.
But he was like, they talk about like Steve Young, but Joe Montana was that too early until he got killed so many times.
Right. Yeah. But he also wasn't fast though. Like
he's pretty quick.
He was not fast. But no, that's the so yeah, if you want to knock on Brock Purdy, the knock I would say is that if he's an X's and O's quarterback, right? Outside the X's and O's, would you call him great outside that? No. But is he really good inside that? Yeah, he is. But that's the difference between a Pat Mahomes and I think Brady's actually an X and O's guys too. But there are some quarterbacks, as you look at them, they don't need the X's and O's to play really well.
So going back, because this is just interesting. Joe Montana's 40 time was a 4.7.
That's pretty good.
For then, yeah. Steve Young's was a 4.455.
Right. 4.7 is not terrible.
That's the thing. I think people forget, because early Montana, when it was Clark and before Rice, it was a lot of him scrambling and running the ball.
Dude, you had to run the ball when you were coming on Notre Dame's option offense, dude. If you couldn't run the ball, you wouldn't have been the quarterback.
Right. Well, he was 7th, and that goes back to the beginning of it. He was 7th string. Nowadays they would have transferred to another school.
Right.
But anyway, yeah, I believe that's the thing. I believe like Brady, Purdy, early Brady and Purdy are the same, right? Do what you're supposed to do. Let your players make plays and your defense win games. That's what he needs to do. Now, in a few years from now, he can evolve into something else. But what you're saying, Mahomes is a different, it's like seeing like Mahomes is a unicorn. Because it's so frustrating to have him on a sack and then he slips out and then just like throws it out of bounds. Right. Or, rumbles it around and runs for 40 yards.
Yeah, he runs for 30, 40 yards, right?
He scrambles around and throws it to a wide open Kelsey.
I think with San Francisco, and I think everybody that plays the Chiefs should just watch the Super Bowl they did lose, how to beat him, and mirror it.
Yeah, but you're not going to have...
Tampa Bay held him
that Tampa Bay defense, dude. They were so fast. They had so much team speed.
Then put run a different.
I think everyone forgets too. Both starting tackles didn't play for the Chiefs that game.
Well,
I mean, I don't think it mattered because when you look at that Tampa defense with their secondary and their linebackers, they were so fast. Like, how do you get away from them? How do you stretch the field when they can cover everything?
Well, you know what? We've talked about the front seven of the Niners. They are the ones that need to come and play.
Right.
I mean,
well, they got to stop the run. Like, if you
Right.
can't stop the run, you're going to be in the same position you were against Detroit and the Packers. So they have to stop the run, and Kansas City's going to run the ball. You're going to see 20, 25 carries from Pacheco.
yep.
Yeah, if they can't stop the run, but I'm gonna stick with San Francisco. I'm gonna go with that. I think San Francisco is gonna win. And all the Swifties are gonna be disappointed that never watched football before that are watching the Super Bowl.
Are they really watching it, or are they on their phones? And
Dude,
their parents
well, they're not. I mean, they're tuned into it.
Well, here's what's going to be the crazy. The pregame show is going to probably have a tracker of where is Taylor Swift's airplane,
right? Coming
because she's playing in Tokyo, right?
Right. Is she going to make it?
That is the question of the week. It's not the game. Is will Taylor Swift make it to the game on time?
Look, so what happens when you watch Super Bowl, right? Every year, another 1%, maybe less than that, show up to watch the game, right? This Super Bowl is going to double all Super Bowl viewership ever. It is. It's going to double it.
I don't know. Yeah, probably.
Everybody's going to be waiting to see Taylor Swift. Everybody's going to want to see Travis Kelce. Everybody's going to want to. And then all the normal football fans now that all hate San Francisco are going to be rooting for San Francisco to win. Even though you don't like them.
It's kind of like, I don't care either way, because if it's kind of like Dallas making a Super Bowl, I kind of was rooting for him, so we never have to hear the narrative again about Dallas. This is the same thing with Swift and Kelce. Just go get married, retire, so we can just go on with our lives.
That's not going to happen, though, dude. You know that.
Huh?
If they win the Super Bowl, they're going to be the biggest story on earth. It's going to be you're going to hear it all next year.
Well, maybe they should we'll just create a kingdom, and we'll just there'll be American royalty, right? And we'll put in Avril Lavigne will be a princess.
They'll be the new prince and princess of the United States.
What?
They'll be the new prince and princess of the United States, dude.
They already are. And they'll take over Disneyland, right?
And Pfizer.
It's like
sponsored by Pfizer.
And then a PSA: Avril Lavigne is Canadian, so she could stay up in Canada.
Well, no, it's America.
Dude.
It's America now. It's not just the United States. North America. Jeez, what are we talking about?
Oh, man.
And I'll tell you, I've never watched
all our viewers.
This is probably the first Super Bowl that I've ever watched. I will ever watch. I haven't watched it yet, obviously. That I actually cannot root for either team.
Bucks, Chiefs. I couldn't root for either team.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I mean, I'll still take the Bucks, dude. I mean, I will. I'll still take the Bucks.
I'll never forgive the Bucks for beating the Raiders.
But I can't say that if either team wins, that I'll be happy about it.
At the beginning of the playoffs, I think I said this was my worst case scenario.
This could be worst case scenario.
I think we all did. That was
Oh
like
no,
a
Steve would have
crack
said
my head.
Packers,
No,
Chiefs.
Packers would have been worse. The only
No,
thing
it
that
wasn't.
could be worse than San Francisco, Kansas City would be Packers, Kansas City.
Because everybody would go back and watch Super Bowl one. It's history.
It's rough. It's rough. But it's the Super Bowl. Still gotta watch it.
Yeah.
Still
There better be good commercials because I've been very disappointed the last few years.
No, I hear it's going to be very tame because they don't want to offend anybody. We don't want to offend the Swifties here.
they don't want to take away from
It's
the
all just
Super Bowl.
yeah. I'm sure we'll have.
I was watching a documentary on the 90s and they had about the .coms and how awesome all the .com Super Bowl ads were.
Oh
They
yeah.
They were good.
Yeah, really good.
But yeah, it's like we don't get any Clydesdales. There's no Budweiser commercial. It's
Where's
like no
the Bud Bowl,
Bowl.
dude? Come on.
We can't. No, we can't promote drinking.
Dude, the Bud Bowl was have you guys, I don't know if you guys seen this, and this might be something for a different podcast, but have you seen this the new campaign in Oregon and on the news for like alcohol and
Yeah.
alcoholism?
Yeah, I've seen the commercials.
Dude,
Yeah, where they're talking about being boring.
yeah, it's like the little oh my god.
Daddy,
You don't
Daddy,
have to
then what?
drink it.
It's not good
When
for
did
you
this
to drink.
become a?
Well, Daddy, then why do you drink? Yeah, commercial.
It was.
You're right.
I saw one
You're
where it was
right.
like, when did it become where you
That
could
was
drink
my
at kids'
household.
birthday parties and what? I'm like,
Right,
because we want to have fun and enjoy ourselves.
right.
So back off.
Because this is boring as hell.
Derek can reenact it better than I can. That's exactly what it was said.
Dude, it's crazy.
It's not.
Yeah, it's funny, but all
But
right.
you know what, honey? We're just gonna go play video lottery. Don't drink. Let's go play video lottery and support your school.
Donate to the schools, man. Donate to the schools.
Actually,
Which,
the pension fund.
by the way, doesn't go to the kids, just so you know.
Whatever.
It just goes to the school like administration and board.
It goes to pension funds.
They've got all these people sitting on the board, like getting paid way more than the teachers, way more than what should go to the students. So all this money should go to the teachers and the students is going to like some person sitting on a board.
Right.
Yeah.
When you
That
got
doesn't
like
do anything.
you got teachers with over 30 kids in each classroom.
Right.
But
Getting paid nothing.
But we can't afford to put another class.
Right. Because we got like 17 board members that we got to pay. It's ridiculous, dude. But like I said, that might be a topic for another podcast. All right, well, we'll wrap it up here. We all got San Francisco.
So that means the Chiefs
So
are
that
winning.
means the Chiefs are gonna win. So if you're a betting man,
you should have listened to us so long. Should have went to sleep, dude.
I don't want to say it's rigged, and I hate to talk about that, but God.
They kind of are. Just a smidge.
They're already putting it out there. So, all right. Well, everybody, if you're still listening, sorry. That was a long rant. That was probably like a 45-minute rant,
like
for us. But we got it all out. We'll watch the Super Bowl. We'll have fun. We'll enjoy it. So thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Appreciate your comments, and we will see everybody next time.